I think with so many different mechanisms in place, there is no reason why people shouldn't get out and vote.
Let's go, yeah. I came up through these streets, now who's running the show? Me. Ha ha, he, yeah. We topping the bill now, stacking the bills now.
All right, I'm Van Jones. Welcome to another episode, another installment of Be Woke.Vote. This is our attempt to figure out some way to make sure we don't have another disaster in November. We want everybody to vote. We want everybody inspired. And one way we get people inspired is that we bring the most inspirational, powerful, visionary voices in America onto the set. We have never had anybody more inspirational, though, and can never have anybody more inspirational than Sybrina Fulton, who's here in the house. I love you. Obviously the mother of Trayvon Martin, but you become the mother of a movement. I just have to say before I even let you say a word, the stand that you have taken on behalf of your son and on behalf of justice for all young people, it's changed history. It's changed history. I've been bragging on African-American women because it's really, if America is going to be saved, it's going to be saved because African-American women stood up. Once again, African-American women are outvoting every other group, out organizing every other group. The cultural leadership that's positive in the country is all coming from this one group of people. And then you often don't even have a moment for self. You could go to an island. I mean, you could go to Hawaii or Jamaica and just stay there and just say, listen, America, you know, good luck. Why don't you choose that as an option?
Because I think it's just so much work to be done. I'm not trying to save the world. I am just trying to make an impact in my little small area that I can. I'm just trying to make an impact. And one of the major reasons and my major drive is that Trayvon is not here. And so I have to become his spokesperson. And I just think that, you know, the little that I can contribute, I will. When I get older and when I get tired, I'm going to sit down in my rocking chair and drink hot tea. But for now, I just have to keep going. And I think it helps me heal because you never get to a place where you're done healing when you lose a child. It helps with the healing process by helping others. I have an event that I do through the foundation called Circle of Mothers, and I bring mothers from all over the United States. And it's about healing, it's about bonding, it's about educating and empowering other women. And then they get all of this positive energy, and then they're expected to go back into their cities and help energize another mother. And so I think that that helps me. You know, when I see other mothers doing things, that really helps me. Sometimes you have to have an arena to go to. You have to have a space to go to where there are other strong people. And that's one of the reasons why I joined a sorority this year. I joined Delta Sigma Theta. That's right. Because I needed to be built back up and I needed to be around other strong women.
Yeah, well, that's lucky for the Deltas. My mother and my sister are AKAs, but we love the Deltas too.
That's right.
And little skiwi.
Don't cut that part.
That stays in. Love you, mama. I think one thing that happens is like people go through bad times, and you learn who your real friends are.
Absolutely.
You know, because when the cameras are there or when things are going well, certain people call, but when all that goes south, a much smaller number of people call. And
family, not only friends, but family as well. You know, when this first happened, we had a lot of family around us. Now that everything is clear, the smoke is clear, we've been through the trial, the verdict, everything. Now the work begins, which is running the foundation. And a lot of times it's hard to get people like still motivated. It almost seems like they go to the next story and then the next story and then the next story. But I can't go to the next story because I'm stuck in this story right here. And so I just have to do the very best I can with this story, with this tragedy.
Well, you've done extraordinary with it. Did you ever go to like counseling or therapy or those type of things? Or?
Oh, it didn't help.
It didn't help?
No. I think I went too early. It was a part of my job. I was a county employee, and that was one of the things that they offered to me. It was called grief counseling, and I went to grief counseling, but I did nothing there but cry. I didn't want to talk. My counselor would ask questions I didn't want to answer. I was in a shell. It was too soon. I believe it was too soon, and I really didn't want to talk. It did help when I talked to my pastor. That definitely helped. I cried, but I also was able to talk at the same time. And so I think I came out of my shell probably dealing with the moms, and that's why that particular program is so near and dear to me. I didn't have that circle of mothers that I could reach out to other mothers at the time that I was going through it. So I wanted to provide something for mothers. And I'm on my 5th year, and I think it's helping. I think it's working, and I think, you know, mothers actually come and they heal.
That's beautiful.
It's awful. It's awesome.
Now, let me just say that people who have not gone through clinical depression may not understand what you're saying, but having gone through it myself, when your brain doesn't really even work, it's like oatmeal, like you can't make a decision. Like things that used to be so easy to do,
Absolutely.
suddenly become like literally impossible. I mean, when I was going through my depression, I felt like I was upside down in a sewer. And a good day would be right side up in the same sewer, but at least I'm right side up. That was the only range of feeling that I could have. You're so involved. You're doing so many different things. You're called on constantly. What's a day in the life of Sybrina?
Oh, God. One of the things that I could say is just, I guess it's an honor to be called on so much, but it's only one of me. And a lot of times people want me to be in more than one place at a time. And I wish I had a twin, but I don't. And, you know, I don't like teleprompters, and I don't like things to like tell me what to say. I like to speak from my heart. And I guess that resonates with a lot of people. And, you know, I'm just a mom. I'm just an average citizen. I'm just I'm a hard worker, but I'm leaving today because I have a rally tomorrow, right. You know?
I mean, who helps you? I mean, how do you manage all that?
Well, I have a good team at home, and they do a lot of screening for me. They kind of interview people. They kind of talk to people to see if this is something that's beneficial for me. And, you know, I kind of pick and choose what events and what things that I'm going to support, because I can't be everywhere. I can't save the whales and help the, you know, it's just, you know, I try to, you know, do as much as I can. But a lot of times, you know, I have to keep things in proper perspective. And then I understand that I have to take time out for myself.
Yes, you do.
And so that's very important to me, because I can still, 6 years later, I can still slip into a depressive stage, and that I don't want. And so a lot of times I kind of run myself a little bit, you know, and then I take a step back, and it's my quiet time. I go to the spa, I go shopping, I drink wine, I go to the casino. You know, I just let...
Is that allowed?
I just let people know how real I am. Like, okay, this is my time out, you know, and I just have to, you know, do those things that rejuvenate me and put my life back into perspective.
Well, I'm glad that you do that. You have done more, you've inspired more, you've created more change than even you know, and you had to deal with it in the most close, personal, hard way. It would have destroyed a lot of people. Or they would have come out crazy, or they would have come out not committed, or they would have come out bitter.
A lot of times people would tell me, you know, you're so strong, you're so strong, you're so strong, but they didn't see my weak times. And that was one of the things when I met with Bishop Jakes, he said himself how strong I was. And I told him, I said, but sometimes I'm really weak. And he said, you need to talk about it, because people just see me as this strong person, as this strong mother. They didn't see when I was on the floor crying. They didn't see when I didn't want to take a shower or comb my hair or brush my teeth or go anywhere. They didn't see those times. And I have to talk about that more when I was broken, my broken points. And I still have my bad days. Yeah. You know, I don't think I'll ever get over it. I'm just learning how to manage this new life.
In terms of African-American struggle, you know, there's certain before and after moments. You know, before and after Rosa Parks, you know, before and after Emmett Till, before and after Dr. King, really before and after Trayvon. I'm very close to the Obama White House. I was during those days. And it changed the White House when Obama said that could have been my son.
Right.
That shocked a lot of people, because he had backed off of any kind of a racial thing. President Obama stuck up for Skip Gates, that professor at Harvard, who got arrested in his own home for being in his own home. And Obama said the cops were acting foolishly, and the whole country exploded. And Obama backed off of it and had the beer summoned, had the cop in and hugged him or whatever. And he didn't say that much more about racial issues. But when Trayvon died, something changed. And Obama came out and said, that could have been my son. And that really started the whole Black Lives Matter movement. We didn't have that term, but the whole movement that is now a global movement really came out of that. And Prince, who I worked with for years, was so moved by what happened with Trayvon, and Trayvon wearing a hoodie, and somehow wearing a hoodie is supposed to be a death sentence. Prince said, when white kids wear hoodies, they say it's Mark Zuckerberg, because at that time, white kids were wearing hoodies all over Silicon Valley, and nobody was shooting those white kids. And so as a result of that, to make a statement on behalf of your son, he created something called Yes We Code to teach African-American, Latino, young boys and young girls how to become coders and go take over Silicon Valley. And that's still going forward to this day. In fact, Infor just announced a partnership with Yes We Code. How do you make sense of what's going on in America right now? And what's on your heart as you look at this November election coming up?
I think that we got to relax when President Obama was in office, and I think we forgot how bad this world can actually be. Yeah. And so it just made us open our eyes. It made us stay woke. It made us participate, get involved, be aware. And that's something we should have been doing anyway. But this election, it's going to be powerful. It's going to show the world that we have learned our lesson by not voting. And so I think it's very important that people not only register to vote, because that's a push to get out and register to vote, but it should also be a push to make sure that people actually vote.
Right.
You know, I'm from Florida, and we have absentee voting there, where 2 weeks before the election, they'll send out a ballot to your home, and you can vote from your house, you know, and just mail it back in. We also have early voting there, where 2 weeks before the election, you can early vote by going to the polls. I think with so many different mechanisms in place, there is no reason why people shouldn't get out and vote.
Yeah. One of the things that people sometimes don't remember is that part of what made Trayvon's case so tragic is that there was a law called Stand Your Ground, which is basically start a fight or do whatever you want to and then kill somebody and get away with it. And over again, when white people would do something like that, they could get away with it hiding behind a law, but that wasn't even being offered to African Americans and other people. That came out of people who were elected based on a vote. In other words, people run for office, they get in office, they pass laws, and those laws have tremendous consequences. I think sometimes we just say vote, 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 but we don't get specific about the consequences of some of these negative laws. When you talk to young people who, you know, obviously see you as almost a Rosa Parks level figure, and you're trying to get them to vote, what are the things that you say that you think makes a difference?
Well, I tell them about the mistakes that I made. And one of the mistakes that I made is I didn't know anything about Stand Your Ground prior to Trayvon being shot and killed. So I didn't know what was on the ballot. You know, sometimes I follow candidates, and because a candidate that's on that I'm interested in getting elected, maybe I'll go out and vote for that particular candidate, but I don't look at the amendments. I don't look at the revisions and whatever else is on the ballot. And it's important that you know what's on the ballot. Never heard of Stand Your Ground prior to Trayvon. But what I tell the young people is people fought and died and were arrested just to vote, you know, so you had people that actually had to fight for the right to vote. And so that right there should be a reason for them to get out and vote. In addition to that, it's going to affect them now. A lot of times, young people don't understand how it will affect them and how it affects them negatively. And so it's important. The candidates that go in office that we vote on, or when you don't vote on a particular person, that's how the person a lot of times get into office, by you not going out and vote and voicing your opinion. So I try to, you know, let them see how important it is to get out and vote, because you have a right. You have really an obligation to get out and vote. And so I just try to encourage them by those means.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes I think it feels like they don't know how to get informed. It just seems like it's so overwhelming. But now you can very quickly on your phone, you know, get some information about who to vote for and how to vote for.
Well, they have different forums too. They have debates. They have different methods to tell you who's on the ballot. But most importantly, you can look at the commercials. I mean, they run them every couple of minutes. But, you know, sometimes you do have to do a little research to see what that candidate is all about. And a lot of times, if that candidate does not line up with what benefits you, then you don't vote on that person. You know, sometimes I have to do my own research to find out if this is a person I want to vote for, and it may very well not be an African American. Sometimes, you know, it is an African American, but sometimes I have to look at what they really stand for. What they really stand for, what the benefits are, what are the negative impact on me and my community, and then I go from there.
Help me understand how you see this whole situation that we're in right now. It seems to me that racism is on the rise in a lot of places, obviously.
I just don't feel like this country could get any worse than what we're going through. I think this is the ultimate punishment. Like, how could it get any worse than it is? I mean, on all issues, everything is just like terrible, you know? The things with the kids being locked in detention centers and separated from their parents. It's just so many issues that we're having here. Just to let people know that we're in a crisis. Like, we don't even know where to turn, you know. And so a lot of times I just think about the young people, and I really have my hopes and everything that I have, I put in the young people, because we haven't figured this thing out. And so I just hope that with everything that they're seeing, that they want to make a difference and they change this world, because we don't have the answers.
You don't.
We don't have the answers, and we're going to turn this world over to them just in a crisis, and hopefully they can bring it back to where it should be.
Yeah, I agree. Another round of applause, man. You've been pouring your heart out. The docuseries, obviously, you know, powerful. The book, your daily ministry to other people, and I am hopeful that this breakdown that the country is going through will lead to a breakthrough. Before we get too much farther, get this book. This book is dope. Rest in Power. It tells a story, and it's important that we tell our own story and we tell our own history, and that we also speak our own truth. If you've gone through what you've gone through and can be who you are and can give what you're giving, the rest of us have no excuse. And so I appreciate you being here. Give a round of applause to Sybrina Fulton. Love you. Honor you. While we're doing this whole series, listen, if we can be 2% of what this sister is, we're gonna be all right in America. Be woke, vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was deep. I got nothing to say.
Hi, I'm Sybrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin and Javaris Fulton, and I just want to encourage everybody to be woke and vote. It's important. Your life depends on it.